Hey guys, All Sports 83, sporting another video at you. And today we're going to be doing week number 7 for the Camber Cup series. And we were at the Kentucky Speedway for this race. Not really a track that I've raced a lot. It's fun, but we'll just have to see what happens here and see if I can do any good at a track I'm not used to. I did not have a chance to qualify for this race. Wasn't able to make a lot of the practices, so I just started in the back and basically just going to see if I can improve myself throughout the race and see if there's some chance for me to be in there at the end of the evening. But as you can see here, I'm just trying to ride in at the back, trying to make my way around the 12 car here, but I'm not really making a whole lot of ground at the very beginning. And get into tie racing there, just wasn't really paying attention and kind of moved him at the track. So basically, I am just not racing very well at the beginning of this thing. It's obviously showing. So a little bit later here, still running in 10th, dead last, just trying to learn, trying to get better. You know, at this point, I wasn't really feeling like I was getting a whole lot better. So I don't know if maybe some pit adjustments was going to make any difference, or just really just repetition. So here I am. I'm trying to make a move on the 14 car. I'm starting to feel like I'm getting a little bit of a rhythm. I don't know that it's a fast rhythm, but it was at least getting more and more consistent. But you know, we'll just see what happens as we keep watching here. So during this green flag run, we ended up having to make green flag pit stops, and I decided to take 2 tires here because the fuel would get me to the end. And even though I was running consistent laps, I didn't know that they were truly that fast. And so I thought maybe if I took 2 tires, I could get a little track position. The cars were starting to spread out pretty well, so I was thinking maybe if I can kind of hold, you know, a spot closer to the top 5, maybe I could, you know, get lucky and maybe get some stage points. But still at this point I'm trying to struggle. I'm still trying to figure it out. So that's just basically the way it's going. So we're on the last lap here, and the 2 tire strategy really didn't work out the way that I wanted it to. But I will say, if it did anything, it let me get some consistency behind the wheel in this first stage. There wasn't a lot of cautions, so I was able to somewhat find a little bit of a rhythm, just to kind of get a better feel for the track. Although that rhythm really didn't show at the beginning of this stage. It seemed like I just lost whatever rhythm I had as we had the caution. I got loose there, just getting into the corner the wrong way and making contact with other cars and just kind of being in the guy's way. So, you know, still a lot to learn, so a lot to try to figure out for this race. But I will say that stage 1 really did help me, and I was able to eventually get back into that same rhythm here in this stage as well. Other guys were racing each other, and so it kind of let me kind of not fall too far back, even though I wasn't really catching or passing a whole lot of guys at this point. They were really just in sight the whole time, and it was helpful for me because as you watch other guys, it can make you a little better too. A little later we get a caution here, and this caution would bunch up the field. Everybody would come in and get tires, and so kind of alters the strategy just a little bit. But now I'm starting to feel like maybe I can start racing some of these guys, and here we get the restart here. But and you'll see a little bit of improvement throughout this portion, and I was getting excited about it. So as you can tell, I'm starting to feel a little bit more racy, trying to move around these guys, but I'm still trying to be a little bit cautious. I don't want to wreck them, and you know, still not overly confident in my ability at this track, but I'm starting to feel it a little more each time, and so I start trying to make some move on these guys and try to get in there and try to make a little bit of a difference, but it would work some of the time, and then there were other moments where, you know, it didn't work out so well. But these guys are pretty good here, so you know, I'm just trying to make the most of this portion of the race, and then we get a little bit of an issue there, and there's a big wreck there. I don't know if the 24 car got into the apron and came back up. I'm not really sure what happened there, but he came up into me, and it caused a pretty big pretty big pile up with us and the other guys behind us. So we get another restart here, and yet another opportunity for me to be closer up to the leaders and try to take anything that I've learned up to this point about trying to get around this track, and then of course get caught up in yet another wreck. And so I'm going to get ready for another restart here. So as you can see, at this point of the race, it seemed like everybody was having trouble getting around this place, this track. But another restart. This time I'm on the outside, and so I'm going to try to make that groove work. And you know, the racing is pretty close at this point throughout, and you know, I feel even better now than I did. He got in the wall a little bit there. I was trying to bump draft that 88 car, but just kind of put me in the wall a little bit. But so as you can see here, a couple guys are having some issues. I'm starting to find that rhythm and trying to get myself into a good position. I moved up to 6th here. This is kind of the best I've done at this point. Then I move around the 14 car. That puts me in the 5th. That's the highest I'd been in this race. I had not been as good as I was in this moment. But then the 48 car gets in trouble, and he turns down into me, causes another wreck, and got to start all over once again. So. So basically, I kept getting caught up in other people's mess, and it was really ruining my rhythm. I wasn't getting any better. Here's yet again another happening here, and he got turned in over in. That wreck would cause the end of the stage. 10th place finish, not very good. I had pitted so many times throughout those cautions, I decided to stay out for the start of stage number 2 in hopes that track position would make a difference. Maybe some clean air, or maybe just not having so many cars in front of me, having things going on. Maybe there'd be less for me to focus on, and so I basically tried to use some track position to you know, improve on the race. I had some other cautions come out, but you know, still kind of in the top half of the field. Hopefully building a little bit more confidence as the race goes on, and just trying to follow this 48 through the bottom lane, trying to get into a good position. And we just kept racing, and the racing was pretty fun here because I'd not really been near the front that much, and so just again trying to get better. I mean, it's just the repeat of this stage, and then there's some wrecking that takes place behind me while I'm the leader, so I'm feeling pretty good. I got the lead and felt pretty good. So basically I was able to spend a few laps out front. Felt good to really pace the field and continue to build some skill at this racetrack. And just as I was starting to feel that rhythm, here comes the 17 car. Fluffy had a fast car as usual and was able to work underneath me here coming to the stripe, and he would get around me. He had a really fast car, obviously, and so he worked around me and then kind of pushed me back to second. Some other cautions came out, so now I'm back to third, and once again trying to see if I can figure out a way to get in front of that 17 car. You can see Walking Avenger also trying to do the same thing, so we're just trying to stay on the bottom lane and utilize that for the restart. But Fluffy was so strong, made a little contact there, and then the 12 car goes to the outside of him, so the tight racing's really started to build up as we're looking at like 15 or 14 laps to go at this stage of the race. So everybody was kind of tightening up on that final stage, and then the two leaders get into each other. The 24 comes off the wall, causes a huge wreck behind us, and actually put me in the lead, but then I pitted and it put me back about the 7th position. So we're back to racing again and trying to overcome the deficit from the pitting. So I thought maybe the fresh tires would do something to make a difference. Hopefully that's what I was going for anyway. So I'd worked my way up to the 3rd position there. I was really starting to feel like I had a rhythm, maybe had something for the guys in front of me, and then a caution came out. So now we're on to that restart. I'm stuck on the high lane now, which is not the place you want to be on these restarts. But I felt like that held pretty good up there. Just, not a lot of room to go places. And so at this point I feel pretty good about what I've learned about the track. I'm really trying hard, but so is everybody else. Kind of pinches me up into the wall, and then some other cautions take place. Big wreck takes place behind me there, and so we're down to 1 lap to go, so we're not going to have a caution. And so now I'm racing Fluffy for 4th place. Not technically a good place to be in, but basically I decide I'm gonna pack it in here pretty good. I know he's going to, so I get in and make a little bit of contact with him right there, but he hangs on to it. So normally you'd think maybe a little contact would move him up the groove, give me a little position there, but it didn't. He held on to it, and I was able to come home 5th as a wreck took place after the start finish line. But I'll take a 5th at a track that I didn't really feel I was that good at. So we'll take a look at the point standings here real quickly. Fluffy obviously taking solo of that lead, moves me back to 2nd. But that's it for this video. Hope you enjoyed it. Have a good one.